Hi, I'm Ricky Sherwood.
And I'm Dave Adams.
And you're watching The Core Mechanic. Today we're looking at number 59 on Mike's list of 100 games you absolutely positively must know how to play. Magic: The Gathering.
Alright, so we became friends from playing competitive card games.
Yes, we did.
Or collectible card games.
Collectible card games.
No, you were never really the competitive player, though, were you?
No, I was very much more into doing something cool during the game.
Yeah.
And if I won, awesome. But, you know, as long as I could do something astounding,
Yeah, okay.
I'd never have to worry about a tournament.
Okay, that's right. I was very much into doing anything effective during the game.
That's right, yeah. You were the guy that ended up looking up net decks and that sort of stuff and learning the in-depth strategies.
Yeah, I was more interested in the strategy. I wanted to understand the net decks and all that sort of thing. I didn't play them specifically myself, mostly because I couldn't afford the cards at the time.
Oh, yes.
But I liked to try and find something that was anti-meta. My goal was always to try and find the card that could break the other decks, or find a strategy that could break other decks. So I wasn't brilliant at it, but I did come up with some fun stuff, and I had some fun playing unique or out-of-the-box cards that maybe people hadn't considered before.
Well, that's fantastic, and that was our introduction, was Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
So we were actually Johnny-come-latelys to Magic: The Gathering, which... 1993. The game is very old.
It's the oldest of the collectible card games.
And yet still the most iconic.
And still a huge moneymaker for Wizards of the Coast.
It is the milestone, it is the yardstick. It is the standard by which every CCG is measured. Now,
I don't know if Yu-Gi-Oh! Has ever beaten Magic out in sales, but I know that Pokemon did when it first came out, and maybe once or twice. There's been years when Pokemon outdid Magic, but Magic's always found a way to just hit back hard.
Always comes back. A new fad comes in, people spike to give it a shot, and then they go back to Magic.
Yeah, and Pokemon's been a stayer since.
Yeah.
They've done really well with reinvigorating the franchise. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has not really.
They've changed a lot of stuff.
They have changed a lot.
Yep, I hear less and less from it each passing year.
Yeah, but the fact that Magic has been so well looked after, tended to, it says to me that really from the outset, not only was it just a good design, they've kept that consistency in design approach. They've obviously done a lot of thought into card interaction. They've done a lot of thought into rules and how they impact the game, how mechanics impact the game, and I think they've provided a very, I'd almost call it a Nintendo approach to design, where they're not so much fascinated by Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! They're not trying to match what they're doing. They don't try to match what anyone else is doing. They're doing their thing. They do it well, and they're all about doing that. They're all about the consistency and precision in design. They do quality work.
Yep. And their design philosophy on cards has remained rock solid. One of the things we noticed during Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the constant escalation of power levels in cards. That led to an absolutely massive ban list very early. Magic: The Gathering does have a ban list, but they sort of countered that a little bit more with rotating formats.
That's true.
Where you only use a certain number of sets. Though for Commander, my personal favourite playstyle, pretty much everything's open for play. Just a couple of cards on the ban list over there, which don't change all that often. The thing for me is the 5-colour system in Magic was also a very important aspect of why people keep coming back, because they've been very good about making sure that each colour has its own identity and its own play style. So whatever your play style, whatever interests you about the game, you'll be in there and you'll be looking for ways to blend 2 colours or 3 colours together if you're feeling brave. And rarely you'll create a play style all of your own.
I must admit, when I felt a lot of frustration coming to Magic from Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a lot faster. You didn't need... You had certain conditions for getting up monsters, but for the most part, you could do lots of special summoning. I could have a strategy where I play out my hand and just go for one massive hit. Magic was far more restrictive, I found. I really struggled with the mana base. I really found mana to be an issue for me. One of the things I liked from the Versus system, which came out a while ago, was that you could play any card face down as its mana base,
as a resource,
as a resource for summoning things. I struggled so much with it, but the nice thing is that over time, I've actually come to really appreciate the meta system and how it's always a consideration of your strategy.
Yeah.
And people, like, the best decks are the ones that come up with the best resources and strategies for managing their mana source. So,
and that balance between resources and ability to do things is something that you'll see across any game.
no, that's right.
Resource management is a key aspect of any game, no matter the media. I mean, video games still have it. Most board games have it. Card games, deduction games, do they have a resource that you spend as
it's not so much that, but yeah.
But resource management. And Magic does it very well with its balancing philosophies.
Absolutely.
And that's probably why people can keep coming back to it, because it's very familiar. No matter what the set is, no matter when you come in, yes, there's a couple of mechanics you'll have to get used to, but, standard untap, upkeep, draw, start playing.
I think one of the things I really like, what I find interesting, especially being a Commander player, where, I mean, that's kind of where our entry was for Magic, wasn't it?
Wanted the multiplayer experience.
Yeah, plus also, for us, I think it was easier for me to come in because I won a deck. I won a Commander deck. And that was really great. And that got me started. And so out of that, I started not only learning how cards interacted, learning how to overcome those restrictions, but the thing I really love is that Magic just has this ability to embrace absolutely ridiculous plays.
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Was all about restricting plays so that nothing was too broken, whereas Magic almost embraces that brokenness at times.
Yes.
You can create
infinite
strategies.
Infinite combos are rare.
Yeah. You got infinite mana combos, you've got infinite destruction combos, infinite attack, summoning combos. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, if you can get there, you've basically earned it, though. So.
Well, that's right. And, some of them are 2-card combos.
Yep.
But it never feels... I never go into a match feeling like it's just going to be so busted or there's one deck that rules everything.
There are some really popular decks that always seem to come high.
Yeah.
But, there's a variety of them anyway.
Yeah, but like with the rotation system, I find those decks will grow in power or decrease in power, and then it gives other decks an opportunity to come in, and it still leaves open for creative players. I think they're still coming up with cards.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed the approach of the Second Sun strategy that I saw in one of the last year's tournaments.
Yep.
It was such a great deck that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't win, but it came top 8. And just the variety of combos and the variety of things that people are doing is still a real rich resource of creativity and design.
Yep. As for why it's on the list, before, I'll say it again. It's the measure.
Like, this game has made Richard a multi-millionaire easily. Made Wizards of the Coast one of the most powerful publishers around in the industry.
The space that I actually find that collectible card games are starting to come in and start doing pretty well is digital online space.
Yeah.
Hearthstone, for instance, by Blizzard, of course.
Of course.
But it's huge. It's absolutely phenomenal because it can do stuff in cyberspace that you just can't do in the real world, like produce cards out of nothing.
Well, that's right. And so there's a real space of being able to interact with the board and the players and the game in that sense. So why do you think people would go back to the cards after having an online experience like
that? There's something nice about a physical collection, isn't there?
Oh,
there's something visceral about playing a card out from your hand, shuffling, rather than just clicking on a portrait somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus,
I think I also trust the randomness of physical games rather than digital games.
And there's nothing more fun than pulling off a good bluff against a human opponent.
That's true, and I think that's a huge element.
Yeah,
is the social aspect. Do I try to be reserved and hide what I'm about to do, or do I want to come out bold and say, this is what I'm going to do, you better come up with something for it.
Yeah.
I'm about to do it, because it can really put pressure. or sometimes you just fake that you're going to do something. And that, all of it is part of the game.
Yeah.
All of it is part of the game. I think one of the nice things is that it's also it's ageless in terms of who can interact with the game. It's interesting watching, if you go and watch some of the documentaries on it, there does seem to be that age bracket where people perform at their peak in competitive play. But I think it's a game that has a broad appeal from 6 years old through and up.
And it should also be mentioned that it's not just the card game. There are books, there are RPGs based on the world.
Absolutely.
It's its own huge thing.
And it is interesting that each set has a storyline connected to it.
Yeah.
And so if you want to go deep into it, like it's not just the cards that you're getting, you're also getting these characters. Yeah. Because the characters keep coming back.
Yep.
And you get these plane walkers, and they're doing different things in their universes, and they're having battles and engaging stuff, and all the cards represent the story.
Recently, Dominaria got released, and I had players who had started back when original Dominaria was a thing.
Really?
And they just came up to me and, I'm so excited about going back to Dominaria. I wonder if we're going to find out whatever happened with Fury and whatnot. So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm so happy you're enjoying this.
That is exciting though, isn't it? Like having that like element to the game.
Nostalgia in a card game.
To build that anticipation in your audience because you've got a story that they've been hanging out for sets now. Yeah. That's really great.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's really clear why this game is on the list. It's certainly... There's been lots of variations of it, lots of attempts at recreating versions of it, but nothing's really ever stood up to the test that Magic the Gathering. And I don't think there's much that we can say in terms of adding to that more than that.
The game's been in design for over 25 years.
Yep.
The fact that they keep coming up with new things to do to me is nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great that one of the things I really appreciate the design process in this game is how they'll pull high-level players in and say, hey, you're a high-level player, you've performed at your peak. Come and tell us about the game and your experience and help us to create new cards.
That's right,
and I think they're adding to the creativity and innovation of the game by bringing in those professional players, those long stayers, and making them part of the design process. And I don't know any other groups that have done that.
Konami certainly haven't.
haven't.
And any of the CCGs have not stuck around long enough.
They've not stuck around long enough to do it. But I think it's genius on their behalf to do that.
Yeah.
Look, thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing, please hit that like button. If you're new to this community, please hit that subscribe button. And until next time, my name is Dave Adams.
I'm Ricky Sherwood.
And you've been watching The Core Mechanic.